Raceway, and we like to bring you people, places, businesses that mean a lot to Beaver County, that do something to improve the quality of life in Beaver County. And that's what we're all about in terms of getting things together so that families want to relocate here and have a pleasurable experience and perhaps even a lifetime living here. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about Pitt Raceway. Pitt Raceway has been in existence since about the year 2000. And this morning, Director of Sales Dave Hoyce is joining us to talk about it. Dave, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming in. Now, we met a couple of weeks ago at the airport on a tour with the Chamber of Commerce to talk about the new airport terminal. And that was pretty exciting, wasn't it? To see how they're putting that together?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Paul Hoback, who I'm on the board of directors for the Chamber with, is in charge of that, is the lead for that program. And they have done a fantastic job. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I think people are going to be very taken aback about how pretty it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very organic. It's very, it doesn't feel like you're walking into the airport.
Not at all. So we'll wait to see that sometime in October, I guess, is when the general public gets to use it for the first time.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Yeah. I know that I just saw an article that said that they were supposed to be a very large portion already by June.
Yeah.
So that's all really good for the region.
And I'm going through all the walkthroughs at that time. And something else that is exciting for the region, and that is the Pitt Raceway and all the construction that's going on around the area, North 18, I guess would be the best way to put it. Dave, are you from Beaver County originally?
No, actually, I'm from the South Hills. I'm from Allegheny County.
Okay.
I've been at Pitt Race for about 13 years, so I've been making that commute from the city to up to Beaver County. So I actually drive through that quite a bit. The Route 18 corridor, that whole program, I think it's going to be really good for Beaver County. I think it's going to be especially good for our section of Beaver County. I think it's going to let people access business a lot easier. I think it's also going to bring business.
Yes.
So, the huge industrial park.
Yeah, and it's amazing because in that area, that North 18, it has, sometimes you look at it and you think, why has all that progress passed over this area? And because you see stuff in Chippewa, on Route 51, you see Cranberry, and Route 18, there's a lot of space out there. There's a lot of fertile ground that people could take advantage of. And I see them taking out the old Giuseppe's restaurant. Now they're starting to tear it down. So I can only think that there's, again, prime real estate for some investor once this turnpike issue is done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 2 minutes off the turnpike, that's, I'm kind of shocked as well. Al's Corner benefits very greatly from the turnpike. And I can see a lot of business as well really helping them out with traffic.
And as you say, you come from the South Hills, and so you're traveling these roads on a regular basis. And I'm a resident of Coppell, so I've seen the number of cars and the folks towing cars and motorcycles and everything else coming out to Pitt Race. That has been also generating a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah, if you're anywhere on 18 between 7 a.m. and like 9 a.m. on a Saturday, you'll see a whole lot of exotic cars coming through. Right. Al's Corner tends to look like a Porsche Ferrari dealership.
It does.
Pitt Race is one of our main focuses, being really part of the community. What we want to bring is we want to bring people into the community that have never been here. We want to share Beaver County with people from out the country. Our programs are not just local. We have people that travel from all over the country to come into the track. So, we're exposing Beaver County. We want to bring more money into Beaver County. All of those are hotel stays and dollars in gas and food.
Yeah. And when you mentioned, it looks like a Porsche parking lot, you wouldn't see those kind of cars around here if Pitt Race was not there.
Not nearly in that kind of volume. We see a lot of them. We do a lot with Sewickley Porsche. A lot of the dealerships come up. So Porsche is probably the number one car that we see on track.
Yeah.
You know.
And as I mentioned, I'm a resident of Coffball, so on the weekends we can hear the sounds coming out. And it's not intrusive. I know back when they first started there was some concern about sound barriers and things like that. But you hear motorcycles, you hear the cars, and it's not anything that disrupts the way of life around the area that I know of.
Well, you know, I mean, we have some neighbors that
Oh, still?
don't love us, and I appreciate that. I do. You know, we do our best to try and mitigate sound. We try not to be, you know, we start at 8:30 in the morning. We try not to have anybody fire an engine before 8 o'clock. We try not to run past 8 o'clock. Even our later events, which would be like go-karting, are much more quiet. So we try not to run past those. I know it's a Saturday and it gets a little loud, but
no, not necessarily. I mean, I have grandsons, and we're out riding bikes, and you can hear it. And my grandson says, "Pop, when can we go up there? Can we go up there and watch them racing?" I said, "I think we can. I think you allow for that, don't you? The people, the spectators, can come up and see what's going on."
Yeah, most of our events are free. Most weekends you can come up and watch anything at the track. We have rental go-karting. Smoking Dave's Barbecue is there doing food up until 3 o'clock. So we would welcome anybody who wants to come up. Now we do have some paid spectator events. So you just want to take a look at our calendar. It will notate where we are, where we have paid events.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you do with sponsor up there? Because I remember hearing at one time Secret Service or police come up there and they do different maneuvers up there.
So we do a program called ERDT where we train police forces. We actually do about 20 different police forces, local police forces, at least twice a year, where we run them through the program. We do private training for companies. You know, they have fleets of drivers. You'd be astonished how expensive an accident for a fleet driver is.
Yeah.
So we help them try to avoid those. We do motorcycle racing, motorcycle rider education. We have high performance driving education for the car. We do racing. There's high performance go-karting out on the big track and on the little track. So pretty much something in motorsports, we do it. The only thing we don't have is a drag strip. So,
okay. Yeah. And that's somewhere in the future, right?
Well, you know, what we've seen is we do a lot of drifting and autocross as well. Drifting has been a huge piece. We have an event called Grid Life coming up in October, and they're going to drift the big track. It's going to be a festival. They have an arcade and all sorts of stuff. So that's going to be a huge one of those paid spectator events.
Yeah. Now, when you have groups come up like that, the different races or cars, do you have instructors on site when you're dealing with the police departments, or do they bring them in with them?
No, we have instructors.
Okay.
So we do the high performance driving education for cars. We do, so we have instructors for that. We also have, and those are more of your race car drivers, your driving instructors for the big track. Then we have our program for teaching fleet and other drivers, and then we have a set of instructors for that as well.
Mm-hmm. So you coordinate that with the different organizations to come in and block out a time, a date?
Yes.
Get it done?
Yeah. A lot of our instructors come from our local region of the Porsche Club.
Yeah. How big is that club now?
That's sizable.
Is it really?
I mean, our event, there are usually 200 drivers.
Yeah. Is that what you drive, a Porsche?
No, I have a BMW.
Okay.
So, but, we work pretty closely with the Porsche Club. Just so you guys all know, you don't have to own a Porsche to come out to the track, right? We do a ton of people in Miatas, in sports cars. You know, if you want to learn how to drive on the track, we've taught people in Honda Civics. So,
okay.
Don't be afraid to come out. Our novice HPDE program is exactly there for that reason. We want people to come out who might not take that step if they had to come out to a big event. We want to do it in a small and controlled environment, and it's just people like them that have never been there before.
What if they want to drive like Fast and Furious?
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's where we do the first step in that.
Yeah.
You can't just come out and drive on a racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care how much money you have. You can't just rent a racetrack and go out and drive. It's dangerous. So we generally find asking, people, making sure they have enough experience. So if they don't, they're an instructor in the car. A lot of the groups that come out provide instructors for their people, but our high performance driving education, the novice program, is really designed to have an instructor in the car and to make that first timer comfortable.
How fast can cars get up on pit race?
I think.
Have you clocked? What's the fastest it's ever been clocked?
You know what? Most of the time, you really don't look at speed because those guys aren't looking down. What they're looking at is time. And so our fastest time around that track, I believe, is Kyle Kirkwood, who's now driving IndyCar. He was there with Formula F3, and I think he's in the a minute and 31 seconds. And your average driver is in the 150s to 2 minutes. So significantly faster. Yeah. Formula cars are different in that they tend to, when you start to get going faster, they start to stick better. The downforce in the aero push the car down so they're going faster and they can go faster through a turn.
Yeah. Our general manager here, Frank Sparks, he's a big race car fan, and he has, I don't know what year the Mustang is that he owns, but he's really into, and we have our car cruises out here once a month, but that's a little different. Do you ever have car cruises out there?
The Chamber and I are talking about that. Okay. What we do have is the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix.
Oh.
So in July, we host the first weekend of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. They do it down in Shenley Park on the second one.
I knew that.
But only about a third of the cars can run in Shenley Park because of the way the design of the track. So nothing over 2 liters can run at Shenley Park. So they come to us first. So the whole field is with us racing for 4 days in July, the second weekend in July. And that's a blast. Last year they had, I think, 60 GT40s. It's that's doesn't happen very often. Yeah. We're trying, I think they're trying to bring some, actually Trans Am's bringing some vintage NASCARs this year, the historic stock car. So you'll see some drivers you might recognize coming out for that series.
I remember Myron Cope used to be very involved with the one in Pittsburgh, the Vintage Grand Prix.
Actually, Myron, as we know, the entire Vintage Grand Prix is a benefit for autism. So every dollar that is produced for Vintage Grand Prix goes to the Autism Society and the Allegheny Valley School. Myron Cope was
his son was
at the Allegheny Valley School, and all of the proceeds from the Terrible Towel go to that as well.
Millions of dollars. Yeah,
but the work they do at that school is phenomenal.
I interviewed his daughter. They have a book out. His daughter, the one with the book out, and she talked about all that and how much dedication that they have and why the family has supported the school, Allegheny Valley School.
Yeah, and and I forget how many years the Vintage Grand Prix has been going on, but they produce some sizable checks as well. I mean, they go a whole year planning that event. So and that's 2 weeks of motorsports in Pittsburgh, or 2 weekends, and then they do events all during the week.
Very good. Dave Hoyt is our guest. He's the director of sales at Pitt Race. Now, the new owners took over 2011, did you say?
Yeah, a couple, Jim and Kathy Stout. They own a company called Coastal Pet Products in Alliance, Ohio.
Right, yes.
So, if you own a dog or a cat, you probably have something that they've made. They bought the track out of bankruptcy in 2011, and they have been investing in it as well. They also bought around that time they bought into Virginia International Raceway. They've since sold that stake and focused on Pitt Race, but they have invested heavily. Every dollar that comes in generally goes right back into the facility. if anybody's ever been up there since the start of 2010 to now, it's a different racetrack.
Yeah. And you mentioned that, and I remember their names because at one time I was affiliated with the Beaver County Humane Society. And because of the pet products, I remember that they made a pretty sizable donation in terms of product to the Humane Society because of that.
Yeah, I mean they're big supporters. They do. They support a group called Leader Dog that does. They provide all the products for that. They do dogs for the blind. They do like detection dogs and things like that. So they support a bunch of different projects like that.
I want to find out what their vision of Pitt Race was when they bought it and what it means for the future. Dave Hoyce is our guest, Director of Sales, and we'll find out how you got involved in all this as well when we continue on the Best of Beaver County.
Have you ever wanted to work in radio? Well, now is your chance. St. Barnabas Broadcasting is a network of 11 radio stations, and we are looking for account executives to introduce St. Barnabas Broadcasting and digital media to new prospective clients and grow existing ones. Experience in sales is preferred. Interested prospective candidates can apply by sending their resume to fsparks@beavercountyradio.com or by calling 724-444-JOBS.
Honey, I found the perfect place for my parents and us.
Where?
St. Barnabas. For us, the Woodlands Carriage Home Community. And for my parents, condominium-style living at the Village. My folks will love the Village. There's an indoor mall with shops, restaurants, and more. And we can relax, knowing they're safe and secure.
That's what I plan to do when we move to St. Barnabas. Relax.
Call 724-444-5568 or visit stbarnabascommunities.com.
This is the Best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network. Our guest is Dave Hoyce. He is the Director of Sales for Pitt Race. And I say Route 18, I never know whether, should I say Wampum because you're close to Wampum, Koppel because you're close to Koppel, what's in between, Hoytdale, or where do you say? How do you get people there?
Technically Wampum, but we're Beaver County and Lawrence County and 5 different things meet right where we are.
Right.
So I remember when we built our timing and scoring building, we actually had to join 2 properties.
Oh, okay.
Because that, and I think half of it was in a different county.
How many acres is up there?
I think we're
Lawrence
using,
County is just, you're just right over the line there a little bit. Yeah.
We're about, the whole facility is over 400 acres. We use about a little under 200 right now.
Yeah.
And we've been developing and doing, building on site as we go.
And there's a lot of space up there. I mean, strip mine, all probably abutting your property up there. There's a lot of strip mine area that can be developed, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a lot of high tension power and gas and and high pressure gas and stuff back there. A lot of the stuff that feeds the communities comes through that area. So some of it is not usable. Some of it's too extreme for us to use. But
Sure.
we always keep our eye out for something else. The owners are, you turn around and they're always building something. We built new long-term garages this year for our customers. So,
Wow, that's interesting. Tell us about the owners and what their vision was when they bought it, what they communicated with you, and how do they expect this to grow?
So I don't know if they had a vision quite that, at that point. When they first got in it, I think the opportunity struck. They were part of the ownership group with Tim Silbaugh, who had owned it originally. Yeah. So I think they just saw it as, at first I think they saw it of at least, at minimum we have the land, right? But when they got in, I started working in 2013. There were already plans to expand the track. In 2015, we opened the South Track, which really kind of put us on the map, going from 1.6 miles to 2.8. So once we did that, and then they paved everything, they built new timing and scoring and admin, I really see it as their legacy. I mean, this is going to be a track that lives on for a long time. They've really invested, and their standards are very high.
People that know tracks, would they say that Pitt Race is state of the art?
I don't know about state of the art, but what I would say is that we get a lot of people that want to come back. Yeah. We have a lot. For the size that we are, we have some pretty major events that come through. Trans Am Race Series is a big one. Like I said, we had pro motorcycles for years. We did Moto America. We had 10,000 fans a day. So,
That's crazy.
And all those people ate
Yeah.
and stayed. And so again,
Right.
while we have a little bit of noise, we really are trying to also give back to the county, bringing people in that'll spend money.
What's one of those amenities in Beaver County that when I opened the show, I said quality of life, and it brings people in and introduces many of them to Beaver County.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things that we also have is a go-kart track. We do rentals, go-kart rentals and go-kart racing. So we do rentals Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have an in-house racing series where we have 100 racers that race go-karts. They'll actually be racing this weekend. And, we do corporate groups. You have to have a group of people that want to come out.
Yeah, I've heard that. Or where it's like team building exercises.
Yeah,
that people do.
you'd be shocked. One of our biggest clients is Wealth Management. Those guys are really competitive. But it doesn't have to be. We've had birthday parties. We've had just a bunch of guys that want to be competitive. I have this great group of guys that come out and they have made their own race series. Like it's just like 20 guys who wanted to, and they got together and put together a 5-race series. We built it out for them, and they do it all on their own. It's great. So, we've done national races where we have 300 plus racers. So the go-kart track is great. If you get a chance coming up, the rentals are fun. We get to go.
Is there an age limit on it?
Height 5 feet.
Height 5 feet. Oh, okay.
And then we do have a 2-seater cart. So if you have one, we go 48 or 4 feet for that with an adult in the cart.
Okay.
So then 2 steering wheels, the whole thing. So, but yeah, we do that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a great way for somebody who likes motorsports or just wants to get out to be able to come out and experience it.
Yeah.
We also do drifting. We do autocross. Autocross is like a low budget way to get into motorsports. It's fun. It's cones in a parking lot, but it's all car control.
Yeah.
It's really making sure you know where your car is going to be.
Do you have an instructor in the car with you, or
No, that one's on you.
pretty much on your own?
Yeah, we have a couple different ways we do it. SCCA comes out, or Sports Car Club of America has one where they do where it's a competition. We do one where it's just you going out against your own time. A little less pressure.
What if you take that before you take your driver's test and learn, and you can just really shock the driver's test.
You maybe slide it into that parallel park.
You're drifting.
We do have a program that teaches safe driving. We've done a lot of students through that program. Really, that is more of a situational awareness and accident avoidance than it is a driver's ed program. Yeah. But it being able to do those exercises at speed versus at cones in a parking lot, swerve to avoid at 70 miles an hour, takes on a whole nother
a little different
aspect.
than doing donuts in the parking lot.
Exactly. So, we can, the teenage driver, the older driver who wants to research, the guy, anybody who just wants to basically look at how to avoid an accident.
It's interesting because it sounds like so much fun, but you take it all very seriously.
Oh yeah, safety is a huge piece of what we do. We have our own safety teams. We have our own fire engine. We do not have an ambulance, but we pretty much have one there every day with as many things as we have going on. Right. So safety is a huge thing. We assess safety every weekend. We come back and we look at what went on and reassess and see if there's something we can do better. But with people going over 100 miles an hour, you got to have your safety in order.
Yeah, no drunk drivers up on the track.
It's our number one thing, is safety.
Yeah. And you probably got enough land up there where you can land a helicopter if necessary.
Yes, we don't like to, but we do.
Yeah. How'd you get involved with this, Dave? You said 2013. You talked about being involved in race for a long time. How'd you get here?
It's kind of a strange story, but I worked for Willie's Ski Shop. Yep, I worked for them for 20 years, or close to 20 years. I was actually 15 years. I started out and went all the way up through. I was a buyer and helping run their online program. And a good friend of mine was his name was Aaron Hemmel. He ended up coming out to the track, and he was running Jim and Kathy's. They had a race series for the Vipers, and they needed somebody to do sales, and he called me up, and I ended up coming out there. I had been worked in ski in Willys. I'd been a ski rep, so I'd been in the outside industry, but I came to racing, and I had a lot to learn. So, you know.
But I mean, director of sales, then you're responsible for advertisers. And as anybody in business knows, you know, advertisers to keep it going. So you got to go out there and beat the bushes. But it sounds like there are people just chomping at the bit to get involved.
Well, yeah, I'm responsible for every dollar that comes in the facility. You know, so making sure that everything's running and all of the services are scheduled. And but yeah, I mean, we have a marketing budget. We, you know, really getting the word out about the things that we do and our customers. One of the things we do, like we post up for our customers. We want to be a partner with the customers and the groups that are coming out with us and help them, because when they win, we do.
Yeah. And international, do you have clients internationally? Is it nationally? You're bringing them in and showing them what you have and really selling Pitt Race.
So what we see more of is international clients from in racing. Like, you know, we'll have drivers and teams coming from Europe. When we deal with manufacturers, a lot of times we're dealing with parts coming back and forth or cars coming back and forth. We do manufacturer testing. If you've ever seen the promo video for the Corvette Z06, that was filmed at Pitt Race.
Okay.
We did a bunch of the testing for that car with General Motors.
Is it an affordable sport? Wait a minute. Maybe that wasn't the right question to ask.
Yeah, I guess, you know.
I mean, you have to, if you're driving a Porsche, if you're driving a Bugatti, you know, if you're driving any of these cars, then.
So, yes, yes and no. It depends on what you want to do. I mean, there are aspects of motorsports where you can, I mean, none of it's inexpensive, but not breaking the bank. You know, autocross is a great place to go if you want to be in motorsports, but not have a huge budget. You know, it's tires, it's brakes, you know, that's pretty much it. And as you get further into it, then you can start spending money. Go-karting is a place to start as well. We run our series is we use a kart motor called an LO206 from Briggs & Stratton. It's a sealed motor, so it's a spec motor, so it can't be tweaked. And doing that is about getting into that whole program is about $3,000. And then, you know, so not a break the bank situation.
We're talking about Pitt Race. Dave Hoyce is the director of sales. If people are interested, if companies are interested, whether it's for team building or racing, and they want to be a part of it, how can they do that?
They can reach us through our website. They can reach us on the phone. You know, they can reach out through social media. Any normal way that you would get in touch, we're open and rolling.
Right here in Beaver County. It's the only thing like this in Beaver County. I don't know that there's another race.
No, not that I know of.
Maybe even close by in Lawrence County or Butler County, right?
There is Pittsburgh Raceway Park, which is, you know, in the area, and that's the drag strip.
Okay.
But road course, I think the closest to us would be Nelson's Ledges.
Okay.
You know, and then oval would be Erie.
So test your skills, right? Come on out and have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever had the itch to learn to drive on a track, we can help you with that. You know, and if you just want to come out and go karting, we'd love to see you.
Yeah, golf karting. You said Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday.
Go karting.
Golf karting. That'd be something to put some engines on a golf cart, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think we want to run those around the track, but yeah, if you want to come out and watch any of the events that we have, just check our calendar. As long as it's a non-paid event, you are welcome to come out.
Is it pitrace.com?
Yep, pitrace.com.
Dave Hoyce, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Come out there and get in a golf cart soon. Go-kart. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Pitt Race on Best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network.
Thank you for listening to the Best of Beaver County. St. Barnabas is pleased to have provided content